Myra had always been the quiet one. In meetings, she'd sit in the second row, diligently taking notes while her colleagues eagerly took credit for shared successes. It wasn't shyness that kept her quiet, it was a gentle nature. She was the kind of person who thought twice before speaking, always careful not to unintentionally hurt someone with her words. She was a deep listener, absorbing everything around her, even when no one seemed to be listening back. Many people mistook her silence for weakness, a sign of passivity. They didn't understand that silence can hold storms. It can be a space for observation, for reflection, for gathering immense strength. One Monday morning, the usual office hum was broken by a quiet tension. Mira walked in to see the new intern, Lila, with tears welling in her eyes. Lila was a brilliant young woman who had moved countries for this very job, full of hope and ambition. Now, she was being publicly and unfairly blamed for a significant mistake she didn't make. The entire office watched, trapped in an uncomfortable silence, shifting in their seats, avoiding eye contact. Everyone except Myra, as she watched Leela shrink under the manager's accusations, something rose inside her. It started as a warmth in her chest, a familiar ache of empathy, but then it grew into a fire. She saw a reflection of her younger self in Lila's eyes, the version of her who had been bullied into silence, who had swallowed her own voice so many times she almost forgot what it sounded like. She had promised herself back then that if she ever had the chance to protect someone else from that feeling, she would not today, not on her watch. Myra stood up. Her heart was pounding against her ribs, and a slight tremor ran through her hands, but when she spoke, her voice was steady, clear, and unshakable. Lila did not make that mistake, she said, her gaze fixed directly on the manager. The entire room fell silent. I reviewed the file myself this morning. The error originated from last week's data entry. If there is responsibility to be taken, it is a shared one. And blaming the newest, youngest woman in the room is simply unacceptable. The office froze. Time seemed to stand still. No one had ever heard Myra speak with such authority. The manager, visibly caught off guard, blinked a few times, searching for a rebuttal, but finding none. The unwavering truth in Myra's tone left no room for argument. After a moment, a few co-workers cleared their throats, nodding in quiet agreement. The accusation hung in the air, then dissipated. The blame was retracted. Lila's tears dried, replaced by a look of profound gratitude. And Myra. She simply sat back down, quiet again. But the atmosphere in the room had fundamentally shifted. Something had changed. In the days and weeks that followed, the change became more apparent. People started approaching her desk, not for casual chit-chat, but for genuine guidance and advice. Lila, the shy intern, now saw her not just as a colleague, but as a protector, a mentor. The co-workers who once overlooked her now looked at her with a newfound respect. Even the manager's attitude transformed. He treated her differently, with a cautious but undeniable deference. Myra hadn't raised her voice. She hadn't banged her fist on the table or engaged in a dramatic confrontation. She had simply used her voice at the right moment for the right reason. She realized something beautiful and profound in that experience. She didn't need to be loud to be powerful. She didn't have to shout to shake the room. She didn't need to dominate conversations to be a leader. Her strength was quiet, but it was real and tangible. Her courage was soft, but it was unbreakable. This story is a reminder for all of us who feel overlooked or underestimated. Sometimes the strongest person in the room isn't the one making the most noise. It's the one who listens, who observes, and who speaks only when it truly matters. And when they do, their words have the power to change everything. Your voice has value, whether it's loud or quiet. The key is knowing when and how to use it. Thank you for listening. If this story resonated with you, please consider subscribing for more content that celebrates quiet strength.